Hey everybody, this is Lynna and you're watching Lynna's Life. Yeah, I am here in Tacoma, Washington, of all places. Um, I don't know, just the day brought me here. I'm going to be meeting with an old friend. She's a trans woman who transitioned back in the 70s and lived as a nun actually. These are the kind of people that I wish that my ex would bother to reach out to the normal people, the people who are trans, who are making a life for themselves. And she's upwards in her mid 60s, I guess, and she's had a life of service that she's led throughout her entire transition. It's like she's been a nun, you guys. She's been a nun. She was in a convent in Canada, and nobody knew the wiser. Nobody knew anything about her past life or anything. And she's very respected. She's a very responsible woman too. She has been working her entire life, and right now she works with the elderly and stuff like that, and providing services and delivery services, I think, and assistance, like, helping them with bedside stuff, things that my ex says that trans women would be appalled to do, like, oh, let's just get a trans woman to have to wear, I don't know what exactly he says, but he said it in the past, and I'm sure you guys could go back to it, but it's that whole thing about, trans women just like to play dress up, and they don't really like to be real women, because real women cook and clean and have children, and after the age of 40 and 50s, they're grandmothers, and they're not like parading themselves on Instagram and other social media sites like TikTok and things like that. But there's my friend. She's a wonderful, warm, caring, loving, kind, compassionate, giving, sacrificing, selfless individual. And she's lived a life of service as a trans woman, mind you, as a trans woman. As a woman, actually, because she doesn't really like to identify as much with trans as actually being a woman, and because that's how society sees her. They don't make the distinction, oh, she's a woman, but she's a trans woman. Wait, there's a difference, because a trans woman is instantly clockable all the time, but it seems like, I'm going to take my glasses off. I wanted to show these off. I think they're really cute. But I was able to get these on Pruzy.com. If you guys ever go there, it's a website that has things like 80-90% off, and these were like $1.99, and they shipped them a little bit more than the dollar store, and I didn't have to ask permission. I just got them because I can, right? I can these days. I can get them if I want to. Isn't that wonderful? I have that ability to just buy things that I like these guys, or or others, because who can have enough sunglasses, right? I have quite the collection. I've got these. Let me show you these. I just got these. These were I think these were at Marshall's or something, and they look, ooh, look at that. I like the big bulbousy look, kind of like, I don't know who to describe these as being, but I like them. They're different, I'm not used to having a metal frame. I usually go with like plastics and stuff like that. And let me see. Oh, I've got these. Let me show you these. These are my aviator ones, right? Oh, they're a little, gotta clean them up. So, use my shirt, my top, cleaning them up. Okay, put these on. These are like a purple haze. Yeah. Oh yeah. These are nice. These are also like $1 or something. I mean, they're like super cheap. But they're just fashion accessories, right? I mean, that's... Oh, and I got some new hoopies, right? I got some new hoops. They were like $4 or something. But like, let me see. What others? Oh, my go-to ones that I use regularly are these. I really like them. I like the tint of like a lighter tint when I'm driving, because I don't like being like dark. So it gives me like that tint that I'm looking for. And they're kind of a purplish kind of color, and they're great for driving. I like them a lot. You know, they're really nice. I like how this white on the bottom, and then they kind of get two-toned and stuff. But these are kind of like, I mean, they're not expensive either. I think $5, I think it was, at Macy's, I think these were. They're no name though. Hand polished from China though. Yeah, boy. And then these are the ones I wear when I'm like bike riding, cycling, which I haven't really done much of, but I got these with my friend when we were in Chelan getting my new bike fixed, and they're just like sporty, right? These are sporty, like Ray-Bans, right? So these are yet to be used. I paid like $25 for these, but they're really good, like for like being out on, like if I'm cycling. I'm gonna lower the window down because it's
Today,
a
when a couple
bit.
of guys stole her purse and
Whoops.
drove off in a...
Hello, stop. It's a bit warm, just a little bit, not like terribly or anything, just a little. So anyway, let me see. Oh, and I have my good pair that I use for driving whenever I like get into serious driving mode, right? These are just traditional Ray-Ban Wayfarers that I was able to get, but these are the real deal. Yeah, these are the real Ray-Bans, right? They got the label on them over there, right? These are nice. I mean, what's to say about Ray-Bans, right? They're like world renowned, right? So, and they come in a little case, you know, they have a little case for them, and a cleaning cloth that they got for them too, like, you know, like a little cleaning cloth, genuine, Pruzy as well. I think these were like $40 on Pruzy, and they're usually like $120. Ridiculous, right? I know people don't like to spend $120 on sunglasses. Some people do. I used to pay, you know, like when I was working outdoors and stuff, I used to love to have like good sunglasses, because good sunglasses really make a difference, you know, especially like the polarized ones and stuff like that. So I'm kind of an aficionado of sunglasses, if you can't tell. And here's my original, like I had gotten these a while back, and I think these were over in what's that? Is it Hell? No, not Hell. Apache Junction. That's right. hotter than hell. Yeah. It's about to get warm there. I mean, 80 is warm right now, but that's nothing compared to what it's going to turn. It's going to turn into a living inferno, because it is just going to be so stinking hot. It's like the kind of hot that gets you like to like feel sick if you walk outside. I mean, humidity is one thing, but hot heat that's dry, and it's almost like it sucks up the oxygen you can't breathe. You know, it's like you can't even trying to breathe, right? So I wanted to make this video to just, you know, continue my conversation that I have here on YouTube with you guys regarding Mark and, you know, what he's doing and everything. So now he's pleading. Hair's flying away. Now he's pleading to take the high road, right? He's saying that he's taking the high road because he wants to like present this image of like, oh, I don't play those silly games. I don't do those kind of things. Now, remember, I asked him months ago, and this goes all the way back to like 2018 when we first broke up. Please, let's just keep this off the internet. Let's just stay quiet. Let's just, you know, irreconcilable differences. It didn't work out, you know. And then my hope was, this last time, was I was like, I'm going to do everything I can to leave his friends. I mean, I don't ever want to, you know, be a part of his life ever again in any way, shape, or form. And I think it's ridiculous that he's saying, not that we'll ever get back together, but people know, but they should know better than to get between two divorcing people. You know, it's like, feel safe, people. I'm never going back to that. You know, no chance on earth. I mean, if hell froze over, I still wouldn't go, right? I mean, hell would freeze over, and I would be like, oh, look, it's hell. It froze over. Oh my gosh. But am I going back with Mark Angelo Cummings or Maritza Cummings or whatever they are? No. Just no. There's no way. There's just no... This is just not going to happen. Not in this lifetime or any other lifetime. If there is other lifetimes. If there are other lifetimes. But it's like all of a sudden he takes this high road mentality. Like, my ex is making videos about me and I'm just not going to respond anymore because I'm just like too like mature for that. You know, my ex is playing childish games, and honestly, my idea of responding was something that I just held back on. My friends back here in Washington would say, don't pick up the rope. Don't pick up the rope. We will monitor what's being said, but just don't pick up the rope. And that's basically a saying to describe, you know, being baited to get back into a conversation with my ex based on what my ex is saying on the YouTube channel that I used to be a part of. So I held back for a long time. I held back. I did nothing. I was like, oh wow, look at you guys. Here's my piano. Hey, you look at you. And I literally, you guys, I wouldn't even go to look at the videos. I wouldn't even bother. I didn't care. I was like in a totally different place, and I just didn't care, you know? And then about 2 or 3 weeks ago, I started to care. And the reason I started to care was, I'm sure you guys know, because my kids were mentioned in a video and in a blog. And it's like, and my poor ex, original ex, was mentioned in the blog too, and in a Facebook post that Mark made about wishing and praying that God would somehow intervene, and that the desire that he had was for me to return to my children and to my wife of, well, how many years, but of course, let's not take into account all the years that I haven't been there, all the years that I have not participated in the life of those people, life that they have conveniently chosen to adapt themselves, right? Maybe not conveniently, but by necessity. They had to adapt themselves, and they found something that works for them. And I want them to have all the peace in the world, right? I don't want to be another, like, ripping of a scab, It's like, my kids have to heal, my ex has to heal, and it's gonna take a lifetime, you guys. It's not an easy thing, and there needs to be compromise on both sides. I mean, people need to, understand that, and I'm pretty sure they do, that things are just different, I used to cringe at the thought of, like, being a dad and everything, and what that means and everything, but to say that I was a part of their lives as their dad was accurate. I can't say that I'm a dad now, because I think a dad needs to be active, in order to be a dad. Like, dads have to be doing dad things in order to be a dad. You can't be a dad and not be involved in your children's lives. I mean, you could be the person that brought those kids to the planet. You can have fathered them, but yeah, dad is something that I think requires participation and active involvement, and I don't, that's why I don't identify with being a dad or being a person that would ever celebrate Father's Day, for instance, because I really don't have any, no one's going to be like going, hey, Lynna, way to go as a dad. And it's like, no, it's not going to happen. Nobody's going to say that to me. And I don't deserve it, because other than bringing the kids to this world and being a part of their lives when I could be, I mean, my dad ship, like internship or whatever, it's a period of time. It ended, and I'm here now, and I have lived as someone's wife for 6 years, and it's hard to be a dad and a wife. Just honestly, it creates a lot of dysphoria. But I wanted to, like, address certain things about Mark and what he said about, wanting people to, like, back off, and, he's not going to make any videos, and I know why. It's because he's lost in the court of public opinion. He has gotten so many negative comments. If you go to his channel and you look at his YouTube, you'll see his channel and you'll see all the negative things that are being said. You go to mine, I have yet to find a negative word that's been said. I have had the words of a friend from, like, way back when, who knew me and has the ability to vouch for me and have a character witness that actually knows everything about me and knew me right? We were colleagues. We worked together. He was a kid that, well, he's not a kid because he's older than me, right? But there was this group. They were called Set Free, and they were, kind of rough. They bikers, former addicts and stuff, alcoholics, former drug addicts and stuff like that. And Trinity Broadcasting Network, where I used to work at, they brought this group of volunteers over to the station and wanted us to train them. And my friend Landon was in that group, and God had really gotten a hold of his life. And Set Free was like, they were like on fire for God. They were like, they were like totally like, transformed by God. I mean, they had their hang-ups and everything, and they had their rough moments and everything, and it wasn't all perfection or anything, because it's a struggle when you're dealing with alcoholism or drug addiction, and it's something that takes a lot of time, right? But TBN thought that it would be a good idea for us to help them, right, the full-timers, to train them. And some of us were a bit concerned because we were worried about our jobs. We thought, uh-oh, they're going to take our jobs. But then I really didn't think that at all. And I befriended my friend Landon. Landon is a gem of a guy. He is, he's a stud, really. He was a it still is, very good looking guy. And he has that, that James Dean swagger to him. He's just a, all-American dreamboat type person. And his dad used to play, I think, in Knott's Berry Farm back in the day when they had like this cowboy roundup or something, and like Gene Autry and Dale Evans and what is it? I don't know, all those the old cowboy stuff, right? Landon's dad was part of that, and Landon was like, I guess he was a child model or something, because he had those really good looks, blue eyes, blonde hair, had that all-American guy look and everything. He plays guitar, he plays in a band, just a stud, right? So Landon and I, we were good friends. He can vouch for me because he knows that I'm a good person, and he knows that there were probably moments in his journey as a Christian where I kind of came alongside and encouraged him and gave him hope, prayed with him maybe, and just gave him attention. He became an excellent camera operator and a floor director par excellence, right? He just has the people skills and everything. So Landon is a good character witness for me, because Landon is a good guy, and he's been through a lot, and he's seen me in every version of me that there is. So and I just find it interesting that he says, the only time that Lynna ever got to be a jerk or anything was when she was around Mark, and I can, that's the truth. I don't know what happened to me. I just swallowed the negativity pill that Mark was eating, was feasting on, and I just, I lost it. I didn't really behave the way that I should have, And I'm not going to say that I'm angry at Mark at all, because I'm not angry. I am actually more so disgusted, right? I mean, you don't have to be angry to be disgusted, because there's a point where anger gets in the way of like wanting to share your real meaningful feelings and sentiments and everything. And you know, I just feel totally like mischaracterized, for one, as a human being, you know. And it's like it's being done, this gaslighting of me that's been done by Mark, by his, you know, his Christian, you know, narrative that he's following now. It's really disgusting to me, because he does it and he knows me. He knows the hell I've been through. He knows how difficult it was to deal with my kids and working through all the damages and all the things, and he knows how much of an effort I made to be close to them. Although he'll tell you, you know, when you detransitioned back in 2016, you know, the kids were all excited and they really wanted their dad back, and you know, you could have done it then. And it's like, no, that's not how it works. That's not how it works. It's not just like, you know, turn it on, turn it off. You just can't switch, bait and switch, like you know, you're going back and forth, like, you know, like a chicken with its head cut off. I mean, you might be able to do that, right? But for those of us who deal with gender dysphoria on a realistic scale, and I know that you say that it's not real, but I can't help but know that it is real. And for me, it's my lived experience. And for you to negate my lived experience is not that it's not acknowledging me as a trans woman or as a woman, but it's actually disrespecting me and telling me that my feelings and my sentiments and my knowing is wrong, right? Because you want to paint yourself as being this, let's come together, everybody. I mean, everybody's got a different opinion. Everybody has, you know, I mean, this is just a matter of a difference of opinion. And I don't know why you guys are attacking me, why you're being so negative. I mean, no one is like I'm not doing this out of spite. I mean, I'm doing this because I understand that this is not real, and this isn't real for anyone. I don't believe it's real for anyone. And it's like, see, these are all the ultimatums that you state, where you say it's not good for anyone, no one should transition, the LGBT is full of like just hurt and destructive people. And it's like, come on, trans community, come on, you need to admit, you need to come and admit it. You know it's true. And it's like, you know, there's no humility there, Mark. And the reason that people are upset with you and are commenting and saying that you're arrogant is because you think that what you're doing is right. You think that what you're doing is like, you know, if someone feels offended, it's because they're convicted. You don't look at the fact that your character, your personality, is an offense to others because you speak down to them. You're a ruffian. I mean, I told you back in the day when you were Mark Angelo Cummings, and I said, you need to soften up your approach. It's a bit rough. Yeah, I should. Yeah, I really should. Lynna, that's a good idea. Am I doing better? And it's like, you know, you don't just bludgeon people. You can't just bludgeon people, even if you think you're in the right. Even if you think you're speaking truth and like, you know, God's told you to do this and stuff. Well, God doesn't tell you to be a jerk. God doesn't tell you to be destructive of other people. I mean, God doesn't tell you to, it's like God never mandated the Roman soldiers to go wipe out the pagan villages and destroy them. I mean, that's not God. I mean, I still have problems with the Old Testament storyline of like, don't leave anything alive, destroy Jericho. I mean, I still have hangups with that because it speaks to like a different kind of God, one that's vengeful, one that's spiteful, one that, wants to destroy and not redeem. And I don't know, there's a little bit of a hang up there, and I know we read that book, Jehovah Unmasked or something like that, and but what I'm saying is that you're offending people. See, no one on the LGBT community is going out of their way to make videos about how bad it is to be, normal in the sense of, 97% of the rest of you. No one is doing that. No one is, but you're coming over to antagonize, to threaten, to destabilize a whole group of people. And I'm one of those people. I'm included in that group because I'm a T, right? And I literally do not believe that what you're doing is right at all, because you attack people and then you say, but I don't know why they're so bothered by me being attackive to them. I mean, why are, I mean, everybody has an opinion. I mean, I have an opinion and I have the right to share it. It's like, for instance, if a president came onto the national news and aired a nationwide broadcast and said, all, Puerto Rican people need to go back to their island and I will make it so, they need to go back and live on the island of Puerto Rico. I mean, people aren't just going to agree with it, and people aren't just not going to be offended by it. I mean, people are going to be upset because nobody agrees with that. I know it's a really weak argument, but my point is that you think that you're not doing harm, but the very thing that you're doing is causing harm to people. You're being dismissive. You're being derogatory. You're being destructive. You're being demeaning. You're being so many things. And these things are why people are commenting on your YouTube channel. And, when I'm talking and sharing about my life, and I'm trying to rebut the lies, literally, lies that you have fashioned as being like truth, right? You turn like things into something else. It's like you're like an alchemist, right? You used to follow that, and you transform things into something else that wasn't what it was intended for. And that's why I'm offended with you and I'm disgusted by you. That's why I continue to make these videos, because although you claim to take the high road, you sure have been wallowing in the gutter for the last 3 months, and I have not but been playing catch up in the last 3 weeks of all the things, all the lies that you've said, generalizations about the LGBT community. My friend, her, she never was a bar hopping lesbian, ran around, slept with everybody like you did, right? She literally was just a lesbian, and she had a life that she led, was responsible, helped her brother who had Downs have a better life, helped families and others along the way. As she was abundantly blessed, she was able to give from out of that abundance. And she's not your typical, stereotype. It's like you like to just wallow in the stereotype. And quite frankly, that might be your stereotype because those were the type of people that you liked. That was your crowd. You liked the crowd or Wilton Manors, all the jumping around and the pole dancing and the guys jumping around and dancing all over each other and, making out, all of that. You were a part of that community. You even so much wanted to be there that you even moved into that community. You moved into Wilton Manors. It's like you were entrenched. You liked it. It was a part of you and you were a part of it. What did you do when you went on your journey with Jessica? You got in the RV and you went to different gay RV parks and played, your music. And you had your name for your band and everything. And you were getting hit on, I'm sure, by the guys at the gay RV, at the RV park. But it wasn't like you were going out of your way just to be normal. You were attracted to that crowd. Men, gay men specifically, found you to be a magnet because they saw masculinity in you. And they were like, I want some of that, And it's like, how much of a gay magnet you were. It was ridiculous. We would go to Alibi, a restaurant/bar hookup joint over in Wilton Manors, Florida, and we used to go there for dinner sometimes and get margarita and a veggie sandwich or something. I forget what it was, but the guys would be hitting on them like crazy. Just like, we'd be standing in the dance floor and guys just walking around like they're like circling like vultures, waiting. And I don't know what they were waiting for, but Mark was a gay man magnet, gay men liked him. And rightfully so, because he projected that strong male masculine persona. It's like he was a bear, right? He was a bear. I did a video. It was called How to Trim a Bear. And Mark loved to if there's such a thing as autoandrophilia, Mark had it. As much as he accuses me of being an autogynephile, Mark was way more of an autoandrophile because, he would take pictures everywhere. He used to talk about Jessica being labeled by a friend in Silver City as espejito, which means a little mirror, right? Because she always liked to take her picture and look at herself, and whenever there was a window, she liked to look at it. But Mark was shamelessly, constantly, even now, to the degree that he does all those selfies on his channel and talks spiritual truths and says, and the Lord did this and said that, and you see pictures of Mark and Maritza and, various poses and different me things, right? Just me. Instead of maybe putting a meaningful video together that has something to do with the content that you're creating, it's you. It's you. And I remember being familiarized with the RV bathroom in the old RV, and looking at the wall and going, oh, this is where you do your selfies. Gotcha. Okay. He goes, yeah, I just wake up in the morning. You know, I mean, nobody has to see anything. I'm just taking a picture. It's like, you just have to take a picture sitting on the stool? Really? Is that, can't you just go somewhere else to take a picture? But that's the degree of auto-androphile that Mark was, right? Auto-androphilia. Mark had it, and he had it bad, really bad. So as much as he wants to accuse me of being an AGPer, right? Just because I, you know, was a late transitioner, I don't know. The boot fits better as Mark being an auto-androphile than me being an AGPer. You know, I remember early on I was interested in finding out more about transitioning and everything, and I went to those sites. Like there was one that was like a community of like cross-dressers or something, and some earlier versions of like different bulletin boards and things like that online. And I just remember the guys on there were like, you know, you're not like the rest of us, and I mean, I wish you well, you know, as you transition to being a woman, because, you know, this is more of a fetishy site, you know, this is more of like, you know, I don't know, just, it was different, and I didn't fit in there because I didn't want to be a part of the, like, that expression, right? Sissy boy or cross-dressing, and not that there's anything wrong with being a cross-dresser, because there's so many guys out there that they are able to avoid transitioning by, you know, going and having moments where they're able to dress and express themselves, and then their wives know about it, and then they come back home, and it can be, you know, it's like they let off some steam, or let off some of that, you know, angst and stuff like that by being able to get out there, you know, and just, you know, they go to these conventions and stuff. Like there's one in Florida that used to be in Atlanta, and it's like a major cross-dressing convention, and they do all kinds of like seminars and different manufacturers. I'm sure many of the manufacturers are there, and, you know, I mean, it's profitable because cross-dressers have money, right? Because they still have their careers. Most of the time, you know, if you keep on cross-dressing and don't transition, you don't lose your family, you don't lose your job, you know, and you keep your career and your profitability and the money, right? You're able to spend a lot. So it's definitely a different world, you know, and I'm grateful that these men are finding ways in order to avoid transition, because my opinion is this should be like the last resort. This shouldn't be your first instinctual go-to, because it's going to be a very costly endeavor, and not just financially, but psychologically, emotionally, mentally, relationally, spiritually. It's gonna really do a number on you, and you're gonna have to be prepared to understand the loss that you may have to face. I mean, some people are lucky, they don't have to lose as much, but other people like me pretty much lost everything. You know, I don't even have my yearbooks anymore. I don't own any of my old things at all. I mean, I don't, you know, I barely have any of my old friends, you know, because it's just so different, you know, relating to them, especially if they're Christian. It's like, first and foremost, it's their religious belief system that if it feels challenged, then they're not gonna want to make the effort to be a friend anymore. You know, they won't allow it. But it's just crazy because Mark thinks that, you know, he's like, well, first of all, he thinks he's a journalist, which, newsflash, Mark, if you didn't go to journalism school, if you didn't go get a degree in journalism, you're not a journalist. You might be in your little make-believe world, but just because you interview people and have questions doesn't make you a journalist. Just like a kid, you know, playing with a stethoscope doesn't make him a doctor. Same concept, right? You don't just call yourself. And I don't understand how you can self-diagnose yourself. Have you been in an objective testing of having ADHD or being on the Asperger's spectrum? Because if you haven't, you can't claim it. You know, you can't claim to be something that you're not. You don't, like, you should know better, because you talk about all of us self-diagnosing ourselves. Well, what do? Isn't that hypocritical? Because you self-diagnose yourself, you know, as having ADHD. You self-diagnosed me, and you were wrong about me, because I'm not ADHD. I can focus my attention like a laser on a project, and I can have the utmost patience until it gets done. I have been known to stand for hours and hours and hours on end as a camera operator, doing the same thing. That's not ADHD. ADHD is being unable to stay still. Inquieta, you know, not being able to stay in one place, not being able to, you know, stay present in the moment. And I don't have that problem, Mark. I really don't. And I don't appreciate the years of having been subjected to self-analyzation by subjective manners in which Dr. Quack tells me, that I have ADHD. I think one of the first times that he said that to me was, we were at a car wash. It was early on in our relationship. He didn't like to wash the car, right? But when he chose to wash the car, he only wanted to put in like the minimum. So we wouldn't get the car washed nicely enough. You know, you can't just do a quickie and expect the car to be clean. So I don't know what happened, but we got into an argument over washing the car, right? How many quarters you're going to put in it so we could get like you want to start off with rinsing it. Then you add the soap and the brush and you clean it off. Then you rinse it again, and then you put the spot-free rinse on, and maybe you're going to wax it, and it takes time to do that, right? So it takes more than $3. But no, Mark wanted to do the quickie and, leaving streaks everywhere Because that's all it does. It doesn't really clean your car. It just smears it. Smears the dirt, right? Smears it. So, I think I reacted in a way that was like, you're controlling me. I can't stay still. And it's like, it's because you have Asperger's, Lynna. I mean, didn't you realize that? It's like, who are you to diagnose me with a psychological condition? Who are you to psychologically analyze anyone? It's like armchair therapist comes on the show every day whenever you do the show. Now tell me, how was your childhood? What did they do to you? Were you molested? Were you touched? Were you abused? Were you a victim? I mean, it's like, some people don't have that story. I'm sorry to say. Some people don't have the story that you want everyone to have. I mean, not every trans woman has some lewd story behind their transition. Not every person has that gutter mind mentality. And I understand, if you've been a part of that gutter mind mentality and you grew up in a gutter like you did, and you want to ask and say, you don't know me. You only know what I show you on YouTube. Well, everybody, I know Mark. I was intimately acquainted with Mark for 6 years. I know Mark. I know this person. And that person on YouTube who is loud and mean and obnoxious and rude and self-serving and destructive and hurtful and dismissive and so many things. That's the same person you see if you were just to walk down the street. Of course, he doesn't have anything to throw his anger at when we were walking around, other than, if he complained about being too hot. But, it's like this whole narrative is just a painted on storyline that you quite frankly want it to exist. You want your storyline to exist. But I don't know if you realize it, you're hurting people. People that can't stand up for themselves, people that struggle in life. You're hurting those people, and it's destroying them. And you're breaking the terms of service with YouTube, so it's nothing personal, Maritza. It's nothing personal. It's breaking the laws of YouTube that will have serious repercussions with you in mind. Those are things that you're going to have to somehow figure out, what you're going to do. But, I think I've said enough. I've said a lot today, and I hope that it's able to clear some more air out, and that people would understand that, Mark's offended because he has no way of being compassionate and understanding and kind-hearted. Just no concept of it. So anyway, I will see you guys on another Lynna's Life. I'm going to go see my friend. We're going to go have some Thai food. Yay. Maybe I'm going to have some, what is that? What's it called again? That dish with peanuts in it. I forget. Anyway, be well. See you guys on a later episode, and thanks for watching. Goodbye.